There we go. Email or drip campaign touches, the 2-minute phone call, or direct visitation. These are your available touches, and like I said, you can probably think of a little bit of maybe one or two more, but these are the primaries. So understanding the processes of CRM, I want you to understand the flow. What is CRM? It's easy to say that's client relationship management. Well, what the heck does that mean? So how does that work? What does it look like? How does that flow? So you start here and understanding what it is. So your warm contacts and your SOI is typically the start of any database. As we discovered last week, the start of your database is getting your SOI in there and your warm contacts. Get them in your database. They've got to know that you do real estate or that you do mortgage or you're doing insurance with ERS. They need to know what you're doing. Even your family members, you can't take it for granted or presume that they know and they're going to remember this when they're talking to someone who may need your particular services or product. So contact management system is the database, and that's what the CRM is all about. So how do people or contacts get into your database? Well, like I said, you start by entering and dumping your warm and your SOI contacts in there, past clients, contacts from farming. So if you're an agent and you're working a farm, then the contacts in your farm should absolutely be in your database. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't have them in there. Open houses. So basically, you get the point. All of your prospecting methods and activities that generate leads and new prospects, this is how the database gets filled. Once the database is filled, how are you messaging to these people? E-farming is what we call drip marketing. So it's a series of pre-written campaigns that your CRM software should be able to house and then send out directed by you automatically at a particular frequency or rate. So it can be one message per week, 2 messages per month, once per month, 1 message per year. It can be whatever it is. Also, good items to go out to your contact list in terms of making those email touches could be an e-newsletter that you generate, a personal message, just listed, just sold notifications or alerts to your database. In terms of snail mail, we can do mail outs, postcards, again, just listed, just sold postcards. PC, or what they call preferred client type programs, is basically a third-party mail out system. There's magazines in that regard that will take your database and send them a copy of a magazine per quarter or per month or however you direct that. There's lots of options when you start talking about preferred client type programs. And they're relatively inexpensive. I'll even say they're extremely inexpensive. So then we come over here, and this is what your database looks like on the inside. You want to evaluate your contact management plan. So again, that's the ABCs, and then as the primary categorization, then your subcategorization. You want to telephone your contacts once a month, and we're going to cover that today, folks, the famed 2-minute phone call, the art of the 2-minute call. You want to talk about work via self-promotion and networking to continue to increase your contacts. That's simply a longer way of saying get out there and prospect and continue to grow your database. And then your cool contacts, or maybe your prospects that are not warm to you, you want to get warm or warm them up by developing the relationship further. So that's simply what that refers to. This here is an illustration of what the purpose is. So if you imagine the lemon here in the middle of this vise is your database. So CRM is a messaging campaign that's applied to your database and executed upon your database, and the result is that referrals and business come out of it. So your business cycle, if you can picture that like a conveyor belt, I need you to use your imaginations here. So this is the conveyor belt of your business cycle. Your database is in the vise. The squeeze or the pressure on the lemon or on the database in this illustration is coming from your direct communication campaign, your email and snail mail campaigns, and all of your activities and actions of CRM. It's important to note here where it says competence and confidence. I always advocate, especially with the B contacts, which is the most worked list because it's your warm contact list, 2 touches per month, that you alternate in those touches with an item of competence or an item of confidence. And you go 1, 2, 1, 2. So understanding an item of competence would demonstrate to your prospects that, hey, you know what you're doing. You're good at what you do. An item of confidence is something very similar, but it's just subtly different to where you're trying to build confidence in their mind about you. You can combine those two, and then you can go an item of competence, an item of value, item of competence, item of value as you're farming or as you're messaging to your database, and you're rotating between those 2 touches. An item of value doesn't mean that you send them, a $50 gift card or a $20 Starbucks card. It simply means that you send them something of value to them. So if they're investors, maybe you send them something of value with regard to investing, portfolio management, or something of that nature. If they're renters and you want to convert them to first-time buyers, maybe you send them a rent versus buy comparison so they can see. So it's something of value to them. Typically, I refer to information as the gold that you want to drop upon them. And this last piece here, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave that out, the incubation cycle. So as the referrals come out, the incubation is that some of those may need, if they're referrals, they may need further CRM, because if one of your warm contacts introduces you to a coworker, a family member, or a friend, then into the CRM goes that referral if they don't need the service immediately. This is what CRM looks like in action as you're out there prospecting and adding contacts to your database. I like to use this illustration to show you the kind of beginning to end flow where a prospect is met, you capture a new prospect, their information, it goes into the CRM. Some people are ready right now, requires the agent to do a follow-up call, maybe set an appointment for a meeting if it's a listing meeting or something of that nature. And then you make the assessment, because you don't want to be spinning your wheels and wasting your time. You make the assessment, can I close this prospect in 60 days? Can I close this prospect in 40 days? Then you continue to work with that prospect. Maybe you list their home. Maybe you initiate the refi of their property. Maybe you take them on as a buyer and you begin showing them a home. You get them pre-approved for a loan. Whatever the process is in that 60 days here that's illustrated here, that leads to a closed side. Closed business, and then absolutely once they close with you, they're a past client. So what do past clients do? They get put right back into the CRM as now an SOI or a past client in that category. And you absolutely want to drip and message to your past clients, because they are the best, if not the greatest source of future business. The referrals, because they had a good experience with you, so they're willing to refer you to a friend or family member or coworker. And certainly because they're going to need eventually to refi their home again, or refi their new home, or even maybe sell it and move in a matter of years. So always good to keep in touch with past clients. I can't tell you how many times, and if you can imagine this, that you provide a great, excellent service for a client. They're extremely happy. They're tears as you're giving them the key. And then 8 years later, when they're ready to move, like we had such a wonderful experience with, Agent Sally. Who was she with? What was her last name? Oh, wow, you just can't remember. So 8 years later, when they go to sell that house and move up to a bigger home, you're nowhere to be found. You're nowhere to be found in their minds. You haven't maintained that mind share because you were not dripping on your past clients. So big mistake that many, many sales agents across many different industries make. It's just sales, and we all make the same mistakes. So we can all also benefit from the same positives as well. I used to use this illustration to, I had numbers up here that would illustrate what happens maybe on a typical month. Maybe you start with 10 new prospects at the beginning of the week or the beginning of the month, whatever the period is going to be. And then after making that initial call and assessment, of those 10, 8 of them turn out to be viable. Only 4 of them lead to an actual appointment, or let's say 5 lead to an actual appointment. So you're feeling pretty good about the week or the month. You got 5 appointments out of 10 prospects, but come to meeting time, only 2 of them actually show up. 1 cancels, the other states some kind of reason, but at the end of the day, let's say you end up only meeting with 2 of the original 10 prospects, 2 of the 5 that you had appointments set with. Now what happens? You're down to 2 from 10. Okay, can I close? And you do your assessment. Can I close this person in 6 days? Are they ready to close? Are they ready to act? And of the 2 remaining, 1 of them is. Yes, great, you closed the deal. Wow, you are so happy. 1 out of 10, you're thinking that ain't bad. Then you move on to the next week or the next month and you get 10 new prospects. Well, the big mistake that you just made, if this is you, is what about the other 9 prospects? They still want to buy a home. They still want to put solar on their roof. They still want to refinance their home. They still need a commercial mortgage, whatever the scenario is. They just weren't ready at the time. Maybe a family member died and they had to leave town, so they missed your meeting, or something else came up, or they just weren't ready to have a meeting yet, or they thought they weren't. They just need a little bit more time. If you don't drop those other 9 people into your CRM, into your database, and conduct CRM upon them, you just lost 9 deals. Yeah, you got the 1, but you lost 9. I call that a losing scenario. That's what CRM is. It's about the state of readiness. So you move through the process, you take the ones that are at that state of readiness, and you close. You add them as a past client to your database and conduct CRM on them still. The other 9 through that week or that earlier period during the month or whatever it was, they absolutely go into the conversion process and they get dripped on, they get marketed to, they get messaged to through your CRM protocol. If you do not do this, you are failing. 1 out of 10, the saying 1 out of 10, whatever ain't bad, it is bad if you fail the other 9. I just want you to keep that in mind. So all 10 prospects will eventually lead to closed business. At the end of this period, you had 1, but you need to continue to work those other 9. That's CRM. So understanding the processes of CRM, here we go, the 2-minute phone call. I promised you that for a few weeks now that we would get into this. It's one of the biggest conversation pieces I have in the CRM training, because many people don't think that you can have an effective non-business call in 2 minutes. What do you talk about if you don't talk about business? If you're not trying to sell them, well, what are you doing on the phone with them? Well, there's a great deal that you can do and accomplish, and here's what it's about. So yes, 2 minutes max. Do not get on the phone and start being chatty, and don't allow them to be chatty. You've got to control the conversation. You've got to stay on point or topic and just kind of steer it. But again, you're not talking. This isn't about you. You do not want to introduce business or the sale into the conversation. Do not introduce business into the conversation. Be conversational. You're calling just to see how they're doing, just to touch base with them. And after you do this a couple times, they'll understand that that's all you're doing. They'll take your calls. They want to avoid your calls or let it go to voicemail, because they think, oh, here goes this agent again trying to sell us. I told him we weren't going to be ready for 3 months, but he keeps calling me and trying to sell me. So you've got to be conversational, and once per month max, because that's all it requires. You want to deflect business subject matter. So if they bring it up, I told you, do not introduce business or the sale into the conversation, but you've got to learn also how to deflect if they do. You have to understand the opportunity cost of not deflecting that. So the reality is, if you're going through your list and you've got a database and you plan to hit 25, maybe 40 calls today on this day, what is the opportunity cost? If you get on the phone with, as you're moving down your list, you're at call number 6, and you've only got, an hour, maybe 90 minutes to do this, that you've planned to do this, and you've got to be somewhere else, or you've got a meeting, or you've got to pick up the kids. This is your time. So if you take 16 minutes or 25 minutes on the phone with one prospect, what is the opportunity cost of not having been able to get through your list and make those other calls? That was call number 6. Maybe call number 17, someone's been waiting for you to call one of your prospects. They've been getting your messaging and they're ready now, or they're ready to make the next step or go from B to A, and they need to talk to you. So when I say don't bring up business, I'm saying don't try to talk to them about, hey, well, I know you're thinking about refi. I got to tell you that I came across something there. You're going to really want to jump on that and move on that maybe. Don't get on the phone with them and try to sell them in this 2-minute call. And if they bring it up, here's how you deflect it. It's very simple. You say, and it may be a question. They may say that hey, Agent John, we saw something on CNN last night. They were talking about this area, and they're talking about something the Fed's going to do with rates and something. I'm not really sure, but I was hoping that maybe you, now that I've got you on the phone, maybe you can elaborate on that. And you say, you know what, sir, I would, or Jim, or whatever their name is, I saw that too. I heard something about that. I would love to chat with you about that. Do you mind if I just get through my calls? Let's set a time. Would you be available at maybe 3 o'clock? I can give you a call back, and I'll do some research in the interim and be able to really give you the benefit of, a good answer or a thorough, diligent answer on that matter. Maybe I want to check with someone. Whatever the cause or the reason that you use, the idea is to deflect the subject matter, set an appointment later that day, just an hour later, just let you get through your calls, maybe 40 minutes later, half an hour later, so that you can come back to them, you can circle back to them and give them an answer. Now you can talk business and you can stay on the phone with them because you've gotten through your list. All I'm simply saying is, I'm not saying don't, if someone's ready to go, they're ready to go. I'm just saying don't waste or possibly lose opportunities getting through the rest of your list because you're chatty with one person at the top of the list. So just be cognizant of the fact that you've got a list to get through, and that the client or the prospect will probably be very appreciative of the fact that you're willing to give them a time to set a callback time and actually just really have a full-fledged conversation with them on a subject that they brought to your attention. Take notes. Big point here. Take notes. You have a CRM or a 2-minute call log that you can get. It's actually, I believe, available for download on this webinar or maybe the last one. If you didn't get it last time, you can just send me a note, maybe via email, and I will certainly send it to you. It's really simple. You can kind of create it yourself. It's just a call log. But understand the power and the impact of having that, because here's a perfect example. So you're talking with your prospect, James, last month, and they said that they were going to, just as you're in a conversation, they were going to head south to Southern California because their son was going to tour some Southern California schools, getting ready to go away to school. And maybe that child's name or that their son's name is, Ray or Raymond. So they're taking Raymond down south to tour a few schools, UCLA, UC Irvine, whatever. And you'd make note of that last month. This month, when you call up and you say, hey, James, it's Agent Bob from ERS. Just calling, check in, you know how I do. So just seeing how you guys are doing. Last time we talked, in fact, you were actually taking Raymond down south to tour a few schools. How'd that go? Did he find one that he loved? First of all, at that point, stop, because the prospect is so blown away, they cannot believe that you, a salesperson, that they're even having this conversation with you, that you remember that little anecdote from a month ago, and you're calling back and you're asking and you're genuinely interested in whether Raymond liked any of the schools he saw last week or 2 weeks ago or over the last 30 days. They're blown away. So understand the power and the impact of that as you understand that sales is relationship building and that CRM is client relationship management. What have you just done? You've scored buku points in terms of establishing a relationship with this prospect. And as you do this, prospects convert to clients, because at the end of whatever state of readiness period this person was at, I guarantee you with the phone calls, the drip marketing, by the time they get there to that state of readiness, they're not looking for an agent. They've got one. It's you. They've been talking to you for 3 months. They've been getting your messages. They know that you care. You've built a relationship. You are their agent. You are their loan officer. They have no reason to get online and find somebody. They've got an agent. In fact, they tell all their friends and coworkers and family members, yeah, we've got an agent. You need one? I'll connect you with mine. That's how you get referrals in this business. This is, I'm laughing, but it actually is that simple. So understand this. This is a big point. In all of your other prospecting methods and activities, you are telling the prospect about you. The 2-minute phone call is and should be used exclusively for you to learn more about the prospect. This is the first and only real opportunity in your prospecting repertoire of activities that you have to learn more about the prospect. Their family members, like I said, Raymond's college-age kid going away. That can be very pertinent in terms of whether they're going to refi or whether they're going to downsize or whether they're going to remodel the house now they've got rid of one of their kids. So you see, it's very important that you learn more about your prospects. Marketing to them and conducting CRM, it's all about you and information that they can use. You're telling them stuff. The 2-minute phone call is your opportunity, and an excellent one at that, for them to tell you more about them. And in learning more about them, what are you doing? Again, you are building and maintaining and managing that client relationship. That's what this is all about. I'm going to keep circling back to that. You're going to hear it several more times because that's what this is all about, and that's why it works. So CRM is the root of all sustained and sustainable sales success. You can't have sales success sustained over a period of time unless you build a database, you manage that database, you message to that database diligently and properly and appropriately with relevance. That's the only way to establish and sustain long-term sales success. So think of, as I said before, CRM as a conversion machine. This is the machine like a dryer. As you watch a dryer and the clothes tumble around in there, that's what CRM is. It warms them up, it stays with them and maintains, allows you to maintain mind share with each of those persons, each of those prospects, as they move through the stages and the states of readiness to go from C to A, where they're hot and they're ready to buy, ready to use your service. So truly leverage the power of relationship management marketing. Get the benefits of residual, referral, and repeat business. This is all derived from CRM. Effective CRM is effective messaging. The key thing here with CRM is understand that your messaging has got to be consistent. So it can't be on again, off again. It's got to be timely. So again, with regard to the state of readiness, are you messaging to them daily or weekly as needed? Are you messaging to them twice per month, 2 touches per month? Are you letting them have some space and messaging to them once per month as a cool prospect? So consistent and timely. Is your content, is your messaging relevant? So are you sending first-time home buyers things that they can use? Rent versus buy, rent versus own comparisons in terms of monthly payment or monthly debt service? Are you sending investors relevant information about investing in multifam or commercial or whatever it might be? Are you sending them relevant information? And then again, lastly, that you're sending them something of value to them. And I don't mean dollar value. I typically refer to this, I mean information. Information that's relevant and therefore has a value to them. Be active with your CRM. Schedule specific time slots for your CRM maintenance activity. Like I said earlier, I use it in the example as you're going through your call list. Maybe you set aside 90 minutes to make those monthly 2-minute phone calls. Well, stick to that. Make sure that you're active with your CRM, but stick to the schedule and hold yourself accountable in that scheduling and be consistent with it. So if you say every Tuesday and Thursday I'm going to commit from 3 to 4:30 p.m. because that's the time I have to do this, then stick with that. Every Tuesday and Thursday be on the phone or whatever the CRM activity is. Make sure your drip campaigns are up to date and operating fluently and efficiently. Whatever the time slot is, I'm saying hold yourself accountable to stick with it and be consistent with it. Feed the whole. Add 30 to 50 new prospects to your database per month. I think we said that last week. We may have even set that as a goal, but the reality is you can do that. If you're out there, get out and about and actually meet and greet people, collect the information, bring it back, and feed your database and grow your database. You'll have more success. The larger your database is, the larger database that you're conducting CRM upon with the categories and the subcategorizations, the ability to be able to conduct CRM on a larger database just is simply going to equate to more sales for you. The ABCs of prospecting, everything I'm talking about in 6 Weeks to Success is from the my second book, The ABCs of Prospecting. If you want to go ahead and pick that up, it's at Amazon. It's actually a manual. It's not that thick. It's not heavy reading. It's a manual on how to apply, how to set up your database and apply this kind of CRM to your database. Very simple, easy to follow and apply. It's a basic manual for establishing and executing CRM on your database. So I'm going to check my questions now. I know we're at about 5:40. That's okay because this was the shortest of the 6 weeks because basically it's very simple. We're just talking about prospecting methods. We're talking about the result of conducting CRM and how you do that on your database. So this is a shorter session. I'm checking now. Okay, I've got no questions. If you have any questions, folks, go ahead and throw them at me now. And this session has been recorded, so it will be uploaded for everyone to view later, and for those folks who weren't able to join us today, for them to get a look at it as well and continue in the series. So that's it. We're actually out in 40 minutes. Again, I thank you for attending. We will be back again next week, Monday at 5 p.m. with lesson 4 as we move through the 6 weeks of success. So I appreciate you. Thank you, and happy prospecting. Get out there and hunt and get busy and be productive every day. Cheryl is asking, are the previous lessons still available? Of course they are. They are housed at our YouTube channel. Superior Productivity and Sales Training, EGU, Elk Grove University. I can send the links out to the channel or to the recorded sessions individually. What I recommend is once you get to the YouTube channel, all of you please subscribe, because that way that I won't have to notify everyone each time I add something to the channel, whether it be curriculum or lessons from the 6 Weeks to Success course, or be it something from Michael Andrews for our insurance training, or our builder training, or even our real estate training and back office training and conversion stuff that my wife does. So please go to the channel, subscribe. Once you are a subscriber, you will be instantly alerted when new content is added. And if there's commentary or notes, I'll be able to message to you as a group. So we're going to do that anyway through email and so forth, but it makes it a whole lot easier for both of us if you subscribe to the channel. So thank you. And yes, I will send that link out. In fact, I'll send them, making note of everyone that's on tonight. We had a pretty good attendance, so I will send the link out to everybody to the channel, and also with the individual sessions that you've missed. This was lesson 3, so I'll send you the orientation and then lessons 1 and 2. So you have 3 links. And if you want, as I said, you can search and find the channel and actually just go there and subscribe or watch the previously archived sessions. So again, good night, everyone. Thank you very much. This has been CRM 6 Weeks to Success, lesson 3. Thank you.